Congratulations on completing your first week of Zen practice. I'd like to talk to you about how we can go forward from here. What's the next step? We've been engaged in a practice of counting the breath, both the in-breath and the out-breath. And this is a great place to get started. But in the end, fundamentally, it's a technique. And it's a technique that we want to let go of. We don't want to be bound to anything in our Zen practice. So for our next step, we're going to be opening up this practice of counting the breath to experience what it is to float or to be present with just the content, the activity of our thoughts and of our heart. One way of understanding this, one way of looking at the practice of breath technique, counting the breaths, is that we're learning to swim. We're learning to stay afloat and keep our heads above water in the ocean of our own internal world. The practice of counting the breath is like having an anchor or having a raft that we can grasp onto when we're starting to feel overwhelmed, when we feel like we're starting to go under. So for the first week, we've been practicing counting both the in and the out breath. Starting with the in-breath and counting in 1. As we exhale, we count 2. Breathing in, we count 3. Breathing out, we count 4. Hopefully, there's been some success with this over the past week. It can be quite challenging. This week, going forward, we're going to do a couple of things. The first is that we're going to increase the duration of sit. We're going to move from sitting for 5 minutes a day to sitting for 10 minutes a day. Remember that consistency and regularity are key. So if you feel like there's just no way that you can fit in 10 minutes, then sitting for 5 minutes is better than sitting for no minutes. So sit as much as you can, up to 10 minutes every day for the next week. The second component is that we're just going to tweak this breath counting so that we can open it up just a little bit. So the practice that we're going to do this week is continuing to count from 1 to 10. But what we're going to do is we're only going to be counting when we breathe in. And what we're going to do is that as we exhale, we're going to allow ourselves to completely relax, to allow our minds to become completely free, to allow them to just completely connect with the physical sensation, the experience of what it is to breathe itself. There is no counting, there is no fixating on any thought, just allowing ourselves, once again, like floating in the ocean and hanging on to the raft of the count. When we exhale, for just a moment, for the duration of our exhalation, we're just going to let go of the raft and allow ourselves to feel what it is to be immersed or to be buoyed by our own thoughts and emotions. As the breath turns and we begin to inhale again, we grasp onto our raft, we come back to the count and count the next number. So that as we're breathing in, we count 1, and as we exhale, just allowing ourselves to be present with the thoughts, the emotions, the physical sensations that are taking place in this moment. As we breathe in again, we count 2, and then turning again as we exhale. Just following the breath, experiencing what it is to be breathed. So if you continue this during your 10-minute meditations each day over the next week, I'll see you back for another lesson, another development in this practice. I'd also like to say that sometimes it gets difficult. Sometimes we find that we're losing count. We're really struggling with just following the out breath. And these exercises kind of stack one on top of the other. So if we find that we're having a sit where we're particularly scattered, where we just can't seem to stay on the count, where we get lost as we exhale, you can always go back to counting both the in and out breathing. And then as you feel more stable, as you feel yourself more able to follow the count, counting to 10, coming back to 1, Then move forward to counting only the inhalation and just breathing, exhaling, experiencing the activity of the breath. I'll see you next week.